A Massachusetts Broadcasters Station of the Year. This is Western Mass News at 6 p.m.
The Chicopee Police Department and the community in mourning after the death of a school resource officer, Angela Santiago, who died Tuesday in a motorcycle crash. Thanks for joining us for Western Mass News at 6 on this Wednesday. I'm Chris Pisano. Fellow officers escorting her body home today. You're seeing that on the screen next to me. Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo joins us live now in Chicopee with more. Audrey?
You can see people have come out to honor the police officer, an Army veteran, who then became a role model in the local high school community. But one person who came to pay their respects today had a different connection with Officer Angela Santiago and wanted to highlight an example of the quiet work this officer did every day. We're raised to believe that the line is clear between good and bad, right and wrong, crime and punishment. But Melissa Paradise paying her respects to late Officer Angela Santiago is where that line gets blurry.
I used to leave my house with my hoodie on and scared to say hi, but she worked my neighborhood, so she would always drive by.
Paradise says she was struggling with substance use when she crossed paths with the Chicopee officer, who died Tuesday in an off-duty motorcycle crash.
She's arrested me quite a few times.
Paradise tells Western Mass News Santiago always kept her on the radar, not as a cop watching a criminal, but as a source of support.
She always looked out for me and made sure I was still in a good position.
And a short while after her lowest point, Paradise says Santiago was there to celebrate her crossover into victory.
She came to my 1-year anniversary when I got clean after she arrested me.
Paradise says she owes her life to Santiago's willingness to see the good in her when no one else did.
She was one of the fewer people that had absolute faith in me. And because of that faith, I made it to where I am today because of her.
A line blurred, a friendship formed, and an officer's faith that kept her going.
If it wasn't for her and believing in me and having faith in me, I don't know if I would have been able to stay strong and stay sober and clean.
Officer Santiago was a veteran of Operation Iraqi Freedom and a resource officer at Chicopee High School. Live in Chicopee, Audrey Russo for Western Mass News.
We have decided to issue warrants in this case today. During the 2 minutes and 12 seconds that Officer Rolfe actually kicked Mr. Brooks while he laid on the ground, while he was there fighting for his life.
We're following breaking news out of Atlanta, where charges are filed for the officer who shot Fayshard Brooks in the back after a confrontation over the weekend. In a news conference a short time ago, Fulton County DA Paul Howard announcing 11 charges, including felony murder against Garrett Rolfe. Rolfe had already been fired after he fatally shot the 27-year-old Brooks Friday night. The second officer involved, Devin Brosnan, is now facing 3 charges, including aggravated assault. A protest getting underway now in Northampton at Pulaski Park, where people are calling for a 50% cut to the police budget proposed by the mayor. Western Mass News reporter Leon Purvis is live for us at the demonstration with more. Leon?
Chris, I just want you to take a look at these signs that are hung up around this park right here. Now it says Abomination NPD budget. Those are signs that protesters hung up while they're getting ready. And if you take a look over there, right now things are starting to get underway. There's lots of people coming to this park as we're live on the air right now, and they have their signs. Now, the protesters' goal of this 50% budget cut is to follow in the footsteps of Minneapolis. They say they want to take steps towards abolishing the Northampton Police Department. Now, this rally is a day before the Northampton City Council is expected to vote on their budget. Part of that includes $6 million in funding for the police department. Other calls for cutting police budgets and reforming policing practices are happening around the country and here in Western Mass following the death of George Floyd. A short time ago, I spoke with one of the organizers of this event about why they are taking a stand.
This is a city without much violent crime, and I think that the money that they're getting, the multitude of money that they're getting, can be reinvested into different areas of the community that can benefit from it.
We reached out to Northampton Police Chief Jody Casper about the calls for cutting the police department's budget in half. She declined to comment. Live in Northampton, Leon Purvis, Western Mass News.
Leon, thanks for that live report. New today, just over the border in Connecticut, things look a little bit closer to normal, with many more businesses allowed to reopen their doors. And while people in Massachusetts look forward to the next phase, many Western Mass business owners near the Connecticut border are feeling that disadvantage. Western Mass News reporter Lindsay Kane is live for us in East Hampton tonight with more on that. Lindsay?
Chris, most businesses just miles from here are enjoying the loosened regulations, but businesses on the outskirts of the border are still waiting for the next phase.
It's impacting us because they're ahead of the game.
Wednesday marks a day many Connecticut residents have been waiting for. Loosened regulations are now in effect, allowing indoor dining in restaurants, gyms and fitness centers, nail salons and tattoo shops, hotels, outdoor amusement parks, libraries, pools, and museums and aquariums to reopen. Nancy Connor, executive director of the East of the River Five-Town Chamber of Commerce, tells Western Mass News over the phone that while Connecticut has routinely been ahead of Massachusetts in the reopening process, it usually means Massachusetts will be close to follow.
We're close to the border, and we feel grateful that Governor Baker has been working closely with the Connecticut governor in a partnership so that, we're not on track, as we're not working completely in sync, but we're working closely together as opening in stages.
But some restaurant owners just minutes from the Connecticut border are starting to feel the effects of always falling behind to their bordering state.
It's a huge disadvantage for restaurants 2 miles down the road to be open first.
Owner of Center Square Grill in East Longmeadow tells Western Mass News that while it may have been an advantage to see how Connecticut restaurants were handling outdoor dining regulations, when it comes to indoor dining, watching from afar hurts more than it helps.
At this point, we're so weather dependent with being only outdoors that, especially Father's Day around the corner, if we get rain on Father's Day, everybody's going to be dining 2 miles away in Enfield, and those restaurants won't be impacted. But, we're going to continue to be impacted by this.
Connecticut was originally scheduled for a phase 2 reopening on June 20th, but officials moved it to today in order to avoid a mass reopening on Father's Day weekend. Live in East Longmeadow, Lindsay Kane, Western Mass News.
Lindsay, thank you for that live report. Now here's a look at today's numbers of COVID-19 cases in our state. So far, reports of 101,654 confirmed cases. That's up 180 from yesterday. Officials say there are now 4,497 probable cases. That's up 86 from yesterday. And there are now 106,151 total cases in the Bay State. There are 60 more confirmed deaths today, bringing the total now to 7,568. There are 9 additional deaths among probable cases for a total there of 166. The statewide death toll standing now at 7,734. New at 6, MGM Springfield officials question the economic feasibility of reopening their casino during a call today with the Mass Gaming Commission. Seth Stratton, he's the MGM Springfield Vice President and General Counsel, making those comments during the more than 2-hour call with Commission and representatives from the state's 2 other casinos, Encore Boston Harbor and Plainridge Park. Stratton is concerned that the limited number of people who are allowed on the gaming floor would make it difficult to operate the facility. MGM has not announced a reopening date. Casinos are part of Phase 3, which could begin on June 29th. Now, among the guidelines the Commission announced today, guests must wear a mask when on the gaming floor. Masks can be lowered when taking a drink. There must be a minimum of 6 feet between operating slot machines. It can be slightly less if plexiglass dividers are installed. Now, for table games like blackjack, there must be a minimum 6-foot-tall divider separating the dealer and the players, and there can be no more than 3 players at each table. The Commission says there will be no craps, roulette, or poker until further notice. And for more coverage on the coronavirus emergency as it continues to develop, just log on to our free Western Mass News streaming app.
Well, how about today? A lot of sunshine, warm temperatures, soaking up that vitamin D on our Springfield sky cam. Just some high cirrus clouds letting the sunshine still spill on through. We're in the middle 80s for Springfield and Westfield, upper 80s for Greenfield, mid 80s for Northampton. Really nice day overall with the warm temperatures. Sometimes we get the humidity to follow along. That wasn't the case. We started out on the chilly side too. In fact, we were in the upper 40s for the morning low. We rose pretty quickly with that good daytime heating back into the middle 80s, and we've been hugging the middle 80s ever since then. Our dew points are still in the middle 40s. In fact, I do think that we're going to have another cool night. Go ahead and open those windows because this is probably the last night in a long stretch that you're going to be able to do so. Satellite and radar dry, nothing happening on our futurecast. We will have a couple of clouds around tomorrow, although I think that it's a mainly sunny day. And we're starting out Friday with some fog. The fog with the increased humidity, but that burns off pretty quick, leaving us with some nice sunny skies into the afternoon. So tonight falling into the middle 50s, windows open, like I said, and tomorrow returning into the upper 80s. We're on our way to knocking at 90's doorstep. I think we achieve that heading into Friday.